Hello and welcome to Dinis Guarda YouTube podcast show, powered by businessabc.net, citiesabc.com, and wisdomia.ai. Once again, we continue profiling the global leaders and personalities changing the world of business and technology, and the people that bring us inspiration and focus into realizing how we can actually make the world a better place. And at the same time, use the tools of our times, both the technology tools, both the ingenuity and innovation that makes humanity so special and challenging as well. So in this series that we actually passed the 300 people, I've been always trying to make it as pertinent to everyone listening to us as possible, and especially portraying the people, the makers, the doers, and as well the different parts around the world where these doers, makers, and creators are making action. The world is a fantastic place with a lot of countries, a lot of different ecosystems, and we need to get out of our tribes and try to see other tribes, try to see other cultures, other countries, other nationalities. So today I'm quite excited to profile someone that is one of the most energetic people that I met, but as well someone that is making a big contribution for all the ecosystem of innovation, technology, and business in India, and as well in the world, but especially in India. And as well, one thing that I've been learning is that, especially in this personality that we're going to be portraying, is that the energy, but the passion and the genuine, I would say, a sense of community and profiling people is very special. So I welcome to our series Raj Aditya Kapoor, that I think you cannot put him in a box because he's in one end an author and as well a serial entrepreneur, an innovator, an educator, an investor, and a mentor. And I think the mentor is very special as well, the work he does, especially in all the areas of technology that comprehends blockchain, artificial intelligence, robotics, cybersecurity, IoT, and cloud computing, which are probably the most important areas of the so-called fourth industrial revolution. Raj Kapoor has designed and worked on multiple different blockchain, both technology and projects, different exchanges, swaps and decentralized exchanges, and is quite known as the founder and chairman of the India Blockchain Alliance, the largest Indian immersion technology and tech think tank. And just for you to know, the India Blockchain Alliance was established with a proposal of mutual assistance in the field of business developing, networking, cooperation, and joint approach to defending the interests of the members of the alliance. And it's been involved as well in projects like Web3 on the Sea, the innovative project by IBA, and that was supported by the IT Minister of Goa government in India. And the project, which began in 2023, aims to build the first Web3 hub in Goa. And Goa is the French Riviera of India, let's put it that way, but famous as well for a lot of different things. And it's been as well accelerating 500 worldwide Web 3.0 startups and corporations. Part of all the work that Raj Kapoor has been doing as well is leading and sharing the Global Alliance for Artificial Intelligence and Innovation. He is an advisory board at over 60 Web 3.0 companies, including Tata Elxsi, Spherium, Soulverse, and much more. And as well is the CEO of Growth Alley Inc. in the USA. Some of the other mentions that I think I would like to bring to the table is that he's been involved in the carbon chain, the tree chain, the natural conservation chain. There are some projects related with blockchain and sustainability. And of course, in terms of international accolades, is as well as a mentor at Techstars, that of course is the largest pre-seed investor in the world. And he has authored 20 plus courses in the areas of blockchain, fintech, DeFi, NFTs, and metaverse. And some of these, of course, courses were implemented by some international organizations like NASCOM, NSDC, CII, an academy, and a lot of other platforms around the world. And then to wrap up, is as well a prolific speaker in tech events in India, UK, US, Africa, Malaysia, and Canada. And of course, has been involved in a lot of media, from Economic Times to Fortune, Money Control, a lot of different platforms. In terms of education, he has a master and bachelor degree in commerce from the University of Mumbai, And in 2014, he was honored with the Excellence in Management Innovation Award by the International Management Association. So I'll wrap up here, but I think we could go for more. Raj, welcome to our series. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Dinis. It's good to see you again, this time virtually, but still good to see you.
It's an honor. I wanted to have you since I met you because your energy is contagious, and I think we need that more than ever. So, Raj, I want to start by the beginnings. I always do that, and your career and profile is amazing, both for your achievements, but as well the way you put people front. And I would say in all the areas, because you are a people-centric person, but of course a technologist and a prolific maker and creator. So how did all of this started? It was your family, was your passion, was in school, was in childhood, or just a bit of your history?
Okay, well, you actually answered a little bit of it by when you told me that I'm a BCom, that is a Bachelor's in Commerce. But that tells you one thing. I don't come from a technology background. No, not at all. I hadn't touched a computer till I don't know what age it was. I think 2000. I don't know, maybe 2000, 2001 to whatever. I come from a non-tech background. I have a master's in business administration. I specialize in strategy, international markets. And 2010, now the age of 48, is when I first actually started coding. And what was I coding? I stumbled into the world of blockchain by accident, by being a Bitcoin miner. In those days, I was in the USA, it was absolutely allowed and legal out there. I stayed in because I enjoyed what I was doing. I learned more and more and more. And before we knew it, I was a fantastic programmer, a super coder. I could program in 18 languages, and I was already trying to create a fork for some other, the chains. So I was doing a lot of things, a lot for fun. But then I understood one thing, that, it's all great. Mining is fine, it's all fun. But what's the underlying technology? And that's where I got my introduction to blockchain. So let's put it this way. My tryst with blockchain came right in 2010. In 2010, when I was in the US, actually. And then you spoke about family. Yes, my family was directly or indirectly involved. How so? I'll tell you. In 2010, unfortunately, I lost my wife in a car accident. It's a very sad part of my life. My daughter had just... Perfectly. Okay, so it's part of life, God's wish. In 2010, August, my daughter had got a scholarship to go to the United States to study. We were to go and meet her in December because her birthday is in December. And before we could do that and celebrate New Year and Christmas and everything with her, I lost my wife in a very nasty car crash. So much so, maybe it depressed me a lot. I went to the USA to personally break the news to my 16-year-old daughter. She was just 16 at that time. And it was a very tough moment for all of us. I was pretty depressed. I used to lock myself in a room and just watch television blindly or read some books or just while away my time. And one of my friends actually told me, listen, Raj, you either got to get yourself drunk silly or you come with me to a mine. What are you talking about? Where are the mines in their city? He said, no, come on, I'll take you to Jackson. A couple of places he knew where the mines were. I didn't know which mines he was talking about. He took me to a Bitcoin mine. I had no clue what was happening. I saw hundreds of people bent over doing some stuff or some wearing hoodies, very young crowd. And I said, hey, what are you doing here? I mean, I'm in my 40s. These guys are young kids. What are we doing here? He says, this could be something great for you. It's a great way to pass time. It's a great way to engage yourself in something meaningful. And that's how I got into the mining aspect of it. But I will say one thing. I went in for the speculation because I'm very curious to earn some things out of there. But I stayed back for the revolution. The revolution being blockchain, speculation being the crypto. My journey started in 2010. Indirectly, my wife was involved because the depression put me into this place where I had to really put all my energies. My daughter was very encouraging. She told me that you've got to do something. You cannot be like this. And well, that's how my journey started. And let's see this way, 2010, fast forward now to 2024. There's an ad by Virginia Slims. You've come a long way, baby. And that's exactly what's happening to me. I've come a long way from there. Done a lot, enjoyed a lot. The journey has been beautiful, and the journey continues, I would say. So yes, that's how I got into it. And now I'm not getting out of it. That's for sure.
Well, that's, first of all, my condolences, and I know how difficult it is. I lost my brother, so I think especially with a young daughter and all the stuff might be, well, it's hardcore for anyone. But that shows as well your strength and as well your commitment to life and to keep going. So let me go one step back. So you discover all that not in the early stage, and I think there's all these kind of videos on the internet that became viral about people that, because we have this obsession in technology of young people achieving everything, but ironically, it's not the case. Edison and a lot of others didn't discover this, and you need maturity to do technology as well and different things. But from all this trajectory, especially in the areas of entrepreneurship and as well in all these kind of multi-network events that you are being a leader, both in the US and of course in India, what has been your passion driver besides, of course, your personal circumstances? Because I think this is quite important for people listening to us, and I always try to, this channel is about tech and business, but it's about people first. And one of the things I've been learning is I learn with everyone coming here, and I think the most important learning is these details, because we demystify, because everyone thinks is facing the biggest challenge, because the problems the only ones we have in our head, and there's so much besides us. And if you get out of our head and we look at this, but I know that you are a very inspiring person. I'd like to see especially what's your driver in terms of this, because that's the technology, but that's the people as well. That's the key.
So, yeah, you always got to put the people between the innovative technology. You cannot have technology without the people. So I think they're joined by the hip in the first place. But what drives me to it is actually trying to treat, I always find there is a lot of blockchain projects and technology projects which are pretty meaningless. Sound good, lots of hype. I wanted to cut that clutter, and I said, let's get out of that clutter and try and do something for good. That was my lead motive. I really wanted to do something which makes sense, which solves real world problems. What good is something for me if I really can't solve anything, if I can't contribute in this world? That's what drove me at the beginning. I said, Bitcoin is fine, but it's not really solving any world problem. The world is going on without it. Can we do something better? Then came the people around me. A lot of people around me, I saw a lot of suffering. I saw air pollution. I saw deforestation, and especially in a country like ours, agrarian economy. I saw farmers, the agriculture sector suffering, lots of issues, a lot of bottlenecks, nobody getting a fair deal. I felt, can I use technology to make things better? Can I? I mean, I had no idea by that time. I was still grappling with the new technology and trying to find my roles, because by that time, by 2016, 17, only the large enterprises started experimenting with blockchain. It was blockchain 2.0 that time. So nothing much was happening in that space, excepting large companies, large governments doing a little proof of concept, some small projects, etc. I wanted to do something more, and that passion brought me back from the USA to do something for India, for where I come from. And that was a turning point. That was 2018 when I came down here once again, after having done a lot of work on Ethereum. I did a lot of work with the Hyperledger. I did a lot of work with the MIT in USA. Sometime I did a little bit of work with them. The sandbox was alive that time. I met a lot of good people, from the academia, from the business side. I really enjoyed that space, and those guys still remain to be some of my best friends even now. They drove. I clearly made this motive for myself. We'll do tech for good. Maybe a good catchword or a buzzword today, but I always believe that technology should make life easier, to make life better. Look at the mobile phone. It's really become everything to us today. We have come from that age when we had the rotary dial phone, and look at where we are today. So we've straddled both these worlds. So we've seen the best of everything. So having seen the best of both worlds, and then saying, all right, this is a great innovation. Innovation should create an impact. Innovation should create a change. Innovation should have some sort of a social impact. If not the economic impact, yes. Social impact definitely must. So trying to do good is something which I enjoy. I still do that. Try to do something different. Oh, yes, I do that. I always call it my leap of faith. I always take that leap of faith. I took it when I was in 2010. I stuck to technology, which people said is going to grow. Nobody knew it. Nobody talked about it, especially in a country like India at that time. India is a superpower in technology, but at that time, nobody spoke about it. I was one of the guys who took my chances and said, okay, listen, I'll make my life around it, my career around it, whole future around that. Because I was in my 50s by the time I'd come. And that's the time when people think putting your legs up and saying, okay, let's retire, let's enjoy a little bit. I decided that this is my second innings. I got more wind beneath my sails again. Once again, I sailed again here. And I think we're doing pretty good now. As we speak now, I don't even know the number of projects I'm right now involved in. But I know one thing, most of them are towards my Tech for Good initiative. And that's where I'm going to keep going. That's what keeps me going. That keeps the passion going. And the people behind these projects. Well, even when I met you, Dinis, I felt a connect, and I said, "Oh, listen, there's somebody whom I can talk to for hours and hours. We can discuss, debate, agree to disagree, whatever, on subjects like this." There are not too many people I have here in this. It's a little lonely place because there are very few people in this space. So my job became, the more people I actually share my knowledge with, the more people I can have conversations with. And at the end of the day, Dinis, life is all about conversations, continuous conversations.
Well, it's very inspiring and it's very special as well. So you have this special capacity to put people together, but it's not easy because what you're doing is extremely difficult because you are, first of all, you talk about it like it's a simple thing, but in 2010, I was as well touching some of the first learnings about Bitcoin, and I did a small project, and I remember that people tell me, okay, if you go to mainstream banks, they will take you out of the industry and so forth. So
yes,
it was a big of a journey, and of course, there's great innovation, and now the blockchain industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and then actually the likes of Apple, Google, Oracle, and Amazon are offering blockchain as a service, ironically. Well, probably not Apple, but the other ones are. So tell us a bit about that journey from Bitcoin, and I know that you have an interesting history with your daughter and the Bitcoin mining, and as well from that to blockchain technology, and from that to build the leadership in the India Blockchain Alliance. So tell us a bit about that, because I think it's, for people listening to us, is massive, especially because India is not so open to crypto as you might find. So yeah, let us know.
No, it's not. I'll keep it. I'll go back a few years. I'll go back about 6 years. I won't go back too many years. I enjoyed the Bitcoin mining part. And you know what? When I mined, I'm not going to tell you how many coins I mined. I did mine a lot of them because I was doing just that and nothing else. I had nothing to look forward to except mining coins at that time, which is, in hindsight, I think it is not the right decision. But anyway, it was fine. The decision was good because I learned the technology. The decision to keep mining and becoming obsessive about it, not so good. So what I did was, I after some time, my daughter settled down. And I said, okay, I'm going to go back to India now. It's high time I go back to India. I gave my daughter all the coins, the coins, and I told her, listen, mate, you keep it. I don't know what in India, I got to use any of these things, so you might as well keep it. And my daughter, the wonderful girl that she is, she completely forgot about them till 2017. She remembered that from 2011-12, she kept those coins and she forgot about it because then somebody told her, listen, price is going to some 12,000 K or 15,000 K. I don't even know how much. I said, what? I said, for all of them? She said, no, for one of them. I said, hey, sell them all. Sell them all was my first stage. Sell them all. She said, no, bad. My friend told me it's got to work further. So this little girl turned out to be smarter than me. And she sold on the first time when it went into the bull phase, when it crossed $50,000, she sold half of them, and she owns the other half now. So she still becomes the more saner one than the two. I, by that time, had moved out of the crypto space and into the blockchain space specifically. And she left a job and has become a producer in Hollywood. She works in Hollywood. She was working with Disney. She quit her job but said, listen, I make my own movie. You make your own career, I make my own movie. Dad, you gave me this as a present. I said, yeah, it's a lifetime present, I guess. I think we cannot calculate the numbers on a calculator. You got it made, baby. I told her, you got it made. You can't calculate. Right. So she's doing that now. She's doing very well. So I think that was the first impact of blockchain through crypto. Then came the actual impact. I worked very closely with the MIT labs and worked with the United States Postal USPA. I worked with the City of Ontario. I worked with a couple of other things. Musk, a little bit of Walmart we were experimenting with. So we did a lot of good use cases. But that didn't satisfy me because I felt that there's so much more to do and I needed some place where I could really sort of flex my muscles. I thought India would be the natural answer to that because being a tech-savvy country, a lot of techies here. Let's go. In 2018, I decided to wrap everything up outside, came back right here and set up the India Blockchain Alliance. Great. I got no response for the first 4 months. Nobody talked to me about blockchain. Only Bitcoin was the only language they spoke. Everyone asked me, so shall I listen to Bitcoin? It's not on Bitcoin. Again, I would go to a college, I would go to a university, I would go to government. I went to the governments also. The governments that time, it was said it's too premature, we don't know. There's no legality around that. And by 2017, the crypto bill had entered the Indian market space, Indian political space. And there were a lot of debate around that. Should be banned? Is it legal? There was nothing around that. So I said, okay, I'll stand by it a little bit, not talk crypto, I'll talk blockchain. Then I explained to the government a lot of stuff on blockchain. What are the application areas? I talked about the supply chain. I talked about good e-governance. I talked about agriculture and the impact of supply and blockchain on that. I think it is somewhere the words resonated. And I think in 2020, the first white paper by the government was released by Niti Aayog. And that was sort of a good thing for me. But between 2018 and 2020, I had a lot of struggle. I struggled a lot trying to make people understand what are we doing and how are we going about it. I started with education because that's what people need, awareness, creating awareness, educating people on the technology, educating people to find the difference between the Bitcoin and the blockchain. That worked well. I started with one university, and long story short, today we work with more than 400 universities and colleges right across the country, explaining, having the centers of excellence out there in the blockchain and emerging technologies, but how blockchain can create impact. We work out problem statements from industry and academia, bring industry and academia together, help them with learning, training, internships, real-life projects. So that's where you get your hands dirty. That's how I learned. So I said most kids are happy to learn the same way. When you got to roll up your sleeves, dive right into the muck and say, yes, that's it. That's how I'm going to learn. Not through books all the time, but really on real applications. So we worked with a lot of applications. Then we opened up our memberships and said, let's get members. Let's have a collaborative environment. We started off with about 8 or 10 members in the first year. We didn't have too much traction. Today, we have more than 800 members right across the globe. So that's a lot of people who joined the bandwagon. Each of them has either a platform or a solution or technology or an application which actually comes within the Web3 space, especially with the blockchain focus. And we help them do a lot of work. As IBA, India Blockchain Alliance, we are a not-for-profit. We are basically the industry body which speaks with the government, which lobbies with the government, which lobbies with the enterprise, lobbies with the institution, makes them understand the value. And I think that's really worked well for us. We put it in a systematic manner. Education, enterprise, government. All three, because all work in tandem. None of them work in isolation. Actually, if you look at it, that's the value chain. We took it up the value chain. And now we work with the top enterprises. We work with governments. We work with, of course, multiple institutions. Today, we started off with 3 of us. When we started off, 2 of them are my very good friends, not so much from a tech background, but from a friend background. I call them my friendships because you can buy you can buy skills, but you can't buy loyalty. Those are my loyal friends. We've been friends in 25 years. We started it off. Today, we are about 40 people and growing. And each one who's in the team is a volunteer, is a person who's pro bono, all with the same common passion to take blockchain and emerging technologies as mass adoption across the nation. We have now 18 chapters across India, and we have about a dozen, partnerships and chapters, you can say, across the world, including Zambia, Nigeria, Switzerland. We've done quite well within that short span, about 6 years. 6 years, not too long in this space, but yeah, well. That's been the journey. Enjoying it tremendously. We've created a lot of impact. We've created a lot of patents. We've helped a lot of companies, whether it's from a funding perspective, shaping the product perspective, bringing them to India perspective. That's what we specialize in. India is a big market. A lot of people don't know how to come here. We help them. A lot of our parents don't understand the technology very well. We help them where to apply the technology, when to apply the technology, why to apply the technology, if it's really necessary, so on and so forth, and how to blend the technology with other technologies, including legacy systems, etc. So that's been a good journey and a very satisfying journey, Dinis. We are enjoying every moment of it. In fact, we're still learning. We all learn.
Well, that's wow. First of all, congratulations and amazing achievements. So I want to touch, before I go to my next question, so from this journey and this more than almost 2 decades of experience, tell us a bit some of the achievements, and you mentioned a lot of the partnerships, both in India and worldwide, and of course I love education, industry and government, which is very interesting to relate the 3 things together, and I think the education is key. But as well, for people that know less about the blockchain ecosystem in India, which I think no one knows much unless you are in India, tell us a bit some of the highlights and some of the things that you saw from your experience that you can share with our audience.
Of late, I'm seeing a lot of people trying to align themselves with the Sustainable Development Goals right now, SDGs. I've seen that now. And I like to work a lot with them personally. There are two ends of the spectrum. One is the entertainment and media industry, which I love. completely. So we are doing a lot of solutioning with them. We have partners in India with, we have a center of excellence at the Producers Guild of India. The Producers Guild of India is a consortium of all, it's an industry body of all film and media producers in India, which make movies, OTT platforms, short movies, documentaries, docu-series, etc. It includes the Netflix, Google's, Yash Raj Films, many, all the big boys out here. So what we're doing with them, they are giving us all the problem statements, and we are finding out solutions to how technology can approach them. So we incubate young companies out there. We ourselves mentor them, grow them, coach them, and we create solutions for the industry. In this, we're coming out with a beautiful middleware for them. It's called Meta Imagine. That's in the process. I think in August it's going to be launched, and the whole film industry, the movie industry in India is going to really benefit from that. It's going to solve all the production blues. It's going to bring in more transparency within the systems, which is very, very murky right now. It's pretty opaque. That's one of the spaces which I really love. Contrasting to that is the other space, which is we have another IBA. We have a smaller unit called the Green Chain. The Green Chain basically works with a lot of companies around the SDG space: green tech, climate tech, environment tech, motorway, electric vehicles, etc. Anything which is energy saving, carbon offsets, carbon trading, etc. So we work a lot in that space. That is something which we've done. Now we are creating the first India's first carbon exchange for one of the states, one of the state governments. We are creating a carbon exchange for the state government, and then that's a pilot. We will take it across once that is, everybody's comfortable with that. We are also creating a lot of microgrids on blockchain in India for the government. We're doing projects in that. We're doing a lot of document credentialing for government and non-government institutions. Well, we are partnered. We are doing a lot of work with a company, the foundation called Velocity Foundation, which is an American foundation, with whom we are in India. We are making what is a concept called the Internet of Careers. It's completely a beautiful project in which we have tried to fix the broken system of all our careers. I like this project very much. It's one of my favorite projects, truly. It's because it impacts everybody. I've just sort of nicknamed it a lifelong learning project, where basically we keep a wallet. You have a wallet, and everything which you do, right, whether it's right now it's being done from colleges, but I want to take it backward to your primary school as well. But right now, it locks in everything, your credentials, your projects, your mark sheets, everything on the blockchain. And when the university issues, everything goes on the blockchain. Now, this is one part of it. It even is actually putting phone numbers on the blockchain, a verifiable phone. If I have a corporate, I don't know whose phone number you've given me to do a reference check. So we are locking that in. Emails, we're locking that into that. We're even creating blockchain-enabled emails. So there's a lot of things we're trying to put inside and creating what is known as the Internet of Careers. So the whole broken system is what we're trying to fix by creating an infrastructure layer. That is something which is very exciting for me right now. That's what's going on. We just launched it out about 4 or 5 days back in India, in Bengaluru. And we want to take it right across all our chapters. Now, I'm traveling also for that. That's an exciting project. It's called Velocity. Another exciting project is we are doing a lot of work in the forest conservation by using blockchain and AI. We're doing a lot of work in that space. That's very interesting for me. We are doing a project in wildlife conservation. We're working with one of the state governments on using blockchain, AI, IoT, different technologies, including satellite technology, for creating a solution to prevent poaching. That's another thing which we're doing. So these are very interesting projects. I can go on and on about them. I'm working on about 60, 70 of them right now. But I think these are the ones which are very close to me. And I think the most relevant one is an international project that we are doing now. I'm the only Indian on that right now. It's called sea.earth, because our oceans are dying. And our oceans are dying. Everything else goes along with that. So they're dying because of overfishing, plastic, affluence, a lot of things. And a lot of rivers have problems, especially in developing countries. We don't have all the checks and balances. So we are actually putting a whole global scientist program in place using blockchain, AI, IoT, analytics, putting all the data which we collect from mobile phones, just switch on a mobile phone, everything comes on, lock it onto the blockchain, use AI to make models, use data analytics to create some solutions, and better weather models. We also monetize it by selling the data to researchers, etc., where we go. So we have our own token we've taken out of the Sea Nexus. So you can have a look at that sometimes. The sea.earth is a very interesting site. I'd love to share more maybe in another session. But yeah, that's a project which we're trying, because you're impacting the oceans, you're impacting your or my life and our future generation life. So whatever impacts us and the future generation, that keeps me going.
Well, congratulations again. It's a quite impressive project, and all of them, I think we'll put the list for all people to research and check it out. So one of the things that I want to touch is, of course, education, which is one of my passions and one of yours. So tell us about that, because that's a very important area, and I think we need more than ever, especially with everything happening with blockchain and others.
You're right. You see, when I learned blockchain, I learned it from Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper. So I downloaded the white paper. I saw the footnotes. I downloaded the footnotes and the footnotes in the footnote document. So I had 3 levels of downloads, and that was my education in blockchain. But I thought that's not the right way for everybody. If it's going to become mainstream, it's got to become easier than that. Let's structure it. So way back in 2017, 18, I wrote my first book. Well, I didn't write it myself. I was the ghostwriter for someone who was more famous than me at that time. I will not name them. That book was chosen as a book for one of the universities in Canada. It's right now also the textbook. It's book for the University of Dalhousie. It's a very lovely book. But that was good. That was fine. I needed the money that time. I didn't need a name. So I got the money, and now I have the name. So I started with that, and then I started writing a lot of textbooks, etc. I said, well, why not bring it to India? Let's let it be accessible to all. So there's 2 things very important. We don't charge for any of our education programs, not for India. Not in India, we don't charge. The ones which are commercially there, which are or platforms, which are commercial platforms, that's completely different. So in these universities, we don't charge for the program store. We give our education is free of charge. So everybody's a volunteer, and all of us work together to actually share our knowledge. And we have a lot of passionate friends from all across the globe which do that as well. So kids understand, learn, and books, of course, the courses and curriculum I've designed as per Indian standards. So yes, so because we have to conform to those. We've done that. I've written about 18-20 courses right now. I'm writing one in a bachelor's program in emerging technology. And I wrote sometime back a bachelor's program in fintech, which is India's today's largest and most fastest selling technology program right now with Symbiosis University. Symbiosis University had asked me to write that along with one gentleman who had approached me. We wrote that. Today there's a waiting list for that course. So I said, okay, something well done. I think it's a job well done. Basically, I also believe that education should be the core. It should be what you would say the Genesis block. Without that, you can't build on that. So I call it the Genesis block. So we have a team of people who are very passionate, who go to these places, colleges. Now, tier 1 is easy to cover. You can take a cab, you take a car, you just go and you can train. But India has multiple layers. India has tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5. India is multiple. India's multiple Indias in one India. So when we are in Bombay or in Delhi or in Bengaluru, we are far removed from the real India. So India is India and India is Bharat. There's an India which lives, which none of us really look at. We try and focus on that India because we feel and we know there's an abundance of talent in that space. There's lots of talent, but no good mentors, no direction, no one telling them what to do, how to do, when to do, who to do it, nothing. So we work a lot with tier 2 cities, and we actually go down tier 2, tier 3, not yet penetrated tier 5. That's the next aim we have. We've got to tier 3 so far, tier 4 and 5 still then. We go there, teach them at community centers. We teach them at the government schools, wherever we can. We take free course. Everything is done pro bono. We all put in our own money for that. And that's not to speak, everybody around me. I think that has had an impact. That has had a major impact. Because we've got a lot of young talent which has really come up from these cities and come and done very well. Good. A lot of them have even gone to the United States, are working remote for the United States now. That also helps the economy because now they're earning members. That actually contributes to an economy. So ultimately, it all becomes tech for good. Also, on a side note, apart from this, we do a lot of awareness sessions. We do awareness sessions for women groups. We do for diverse DEI, sessions. We do a lot for gender equality, and we bring in a lot of women into tech. That's one of our aims we have, is bringing in a lot of women into blockchain or into AI, because there are not too many in this space, and they don't have really good role models. So we got to do a lot of work to make that happen. So right now, we also have what is known as the Global Blockchain Women Alliance also. It's run by a Nigerian. She's in charge of it. I put her in charge of it. So that's been a very good thing. Madhubay, here's the name, and she's doing some great work with that space. Also, we have got a lot of people who support us in that. Then we also do a lot of work with the underprivileged girl child. This is something personal. My wife and I, whatever we earn, 75% of our earnings go towards this foundation, which basically helps in educating the girl child at whatever stage of life, in a school, primary, secondary, wherever she comes in, and guide them towards careers in technology. So over the last 10 years, we have impacted about 2,000 plus girls in this space. They're all underprivileged girls who normally would have been, either got married off early or been maid servants or something. So we try and make something for them. Now, I know it's 2,000 is not a very big number, but that's a little difference we made. Even if you make that a little difference, it goes a long way. That's 2,000 more families that grow healthier and faster and contribute to the bottom line. So we work in education a lot. Today, we have more than 400 plus colleges and universities that we work with right across the nation. As I told you, we have centers of excellence in each one of them. That has gone a big way. And also, we help a lot of entrepreneurs within these. They have the e-cells within each of these colleges. We help them work around right technology to be deployed, implemented for whatever products. We help them shape the products. We help them ideate. We do a lot of cohorts, hackathons, webinars, seminars, give them a lot of international exposure. So there's a lot of stuff which we do.
Congratulations and kudos. This is one of the things I think we need to touch more. So, and I have one question on that, but I want to go more, we'll come back to education. So the next one is, I think from the work you're doing, and you touch some of these things where I want to go deep, is that you've been always making a bridge between the three areas, like we just mentioned, education, corporations, and governments. Yes. So on the education we touch, how do you do the two other things? Because you've been in the board of a lot of companies, a lot of startups, you are still super active. At the same time, you are dealing with a lot of things of creating policies, especially in India, but as well international. So tell us a bit about that, because that's a key work.
Yes.
And I know that India has been having a lot of resilience or resistance, especially to crypto. But a bit of your journey on that and some highlights as well.
Okay, I'll give you in two parts. First, I'll tell you how we are working with the enterprise. At India Blockchain Alliance, we have 22 different verticals, and we've got people who are 20 to 25 years or 30 years experience within those verticals who are actually heading those verticals. Now, they may not come from a tech background, but they are vertical experts. They're subject matter experts, healthcare, governance. Then we have a lot of work in agriculture. We have in ad tech. We have in the entertainment space. We have in the retail sector, hospitality sector, manufacturing sector. So we have about 21, 22 different verticals which we focus on. They find out what are the problem areas of the industry. And then we work with them, sort them out through technology. So that's how we approach the enterprise. Of course, the projects which come in, those are the ones we also make profit. We have for-profit companies also. It's not that we have only a not-for-profit. We also have for-profit companies which execute such projects. So we have advisory there. We have implementation. We do that. That's how we reach out to corporates. And we've had a very good run. We work with the Tatas. We work with all the big names. Plus, we work with all the small names also. Because we believe that nobody should be left. Especially we work with the MSME sector as the medium enterprise sector. Medium and small and medium enterprise sector forms more than 50% of the businesses in India. And that's a lot of people. It's the backbone of the nation. That's where a lot of businesses generated. Very disorganized, very ad hoc, always cash crunch. So we actually are working on multiple initiatives to help them, whether it is fractionalizing their machinery, whether it is helping them raise finance, staking outside the country, etc. There's a lot or even fractionalizing real world assets for them. That's a lot of work we're doing with them to help them get liquidity. That's one part. The second thing we're helping them is get access to funds, get access to knowledge, technology, how to actually use and leverage technology. Most of them have struggled with one thing. They struggle with money to set up a project. So we are using blockchain as a service for them to actually, they can plug and play. So they can play like a subscription model. So that's a model which is working in India. That really works. Everybody can't afford to start creating their own products. And it doesn't make any sense anyways. So that's how we approach that. We certainly, the government, yes, we have another subdivision of India Blockchain Alliance called the Blockchain Governance Council. In this, we have a lot of experts, which I head this thing. We have my other colleague, Aman. We worked very closely with the government, getting feedback. Basically, I also be given my suggestions on the G20 also. So we do a lot of suggestions. We give a lot of white papers, recommendations on standards, frameworks, taxation, policy, everything. Without that, there is never going to be a mainstream adoption of blockchain in any country. You need to have the policy is clear. Just like you have it, that Dubai has it, Ras Al Khaimah has it, so many other countries have it now. India doesn't have it as yet. It's a challenge, and rightfully so. It's a large nation. There are lots of challenges. It's just a small ad hoc thing, which is otherwise, why are we sitting on it from 2017? We're sitting on it because we really haven't found the right solutions. So what we do is also give a lot of recommendations to government policy. We create awareness sessions for their people. I've been an advisor for the Reserve Bank of India, which is the central bank here. I do a lot of work with them. I work with the SEBI, that is like the SEC in the United States, which is the watchdog, basically financial watchdog for the industry, with their divisions, crypto divisions, helping them with the forensics, helping them track and trace, figure out how criminal activities take place, so that they can try to create policy and framework around that. They can mitigate those. So we do a lot of white paper writing, and that I think has been a very big thing, because a lot of our suggestions get taken up and there's a debate around it. There are roundtables around that. And then ultimately all stakeholders come together, risk, compliance, legal, accounting, everybody comes together, a government, all bodies come together, and we try and make a cohesive action plan. We are doing this for the AI framework right now. We've already done a lot for the crypto policy. And hopefully by the end of the year, we'll see a lot of action within this space. India will be starting to make the frameworks right now. I think we contributed our bit, so we'll keep contributing. So that's how we reach out to these two segments.
Well, fantastic. And thank you so much for this intelligence. And for people listening to us, I put some notes and I want your comments on this. Some notes about special startup ecosystem in India and the dynamics in terms of tech. So in terms of the startup ecosystem, the numbers differ, but we're talking about between 100 to 500,000 startups. I'm sure you're going to get me more information about the right numbers. There's around 100 unicorns, so companies over $1 billion.
160 unicorns was the last one I heard of. So
fantastic.
Out of which I was part of one. That's called Fire.
Fantastic. So from and let's look at the number of startups. It's more close to the 500,000 or 100,000. What's your number?
It's closer to 500,000. Yes, 486,000 was a number which I had read some time back. I can guess it. I'm sure there are more cropping up every day. So yeah, it's got to be more than that for sure now.
Fantastic. So and I would like my team to take notes and put this on the comments and as well, because this is very important numbers, and probably we'll have to do an article just about this. So biggest organizations, I want to just highlight, because you mentioned just one unicorn, but there's like Flipkart, the e-commerce giant that was acquired by Walmart. There's Bijou's, a leading tech platform. Paytm, digital payments and financial service. Ola, that is a ride-hailing service. Zomato, food delivery and restaurant discovery. There's, of course, the major companies for people listening to us, and I want your comments on that. And you are involved in one of them. So Tata Consultancy Service, which is, of course, a giant. Infosys, Reliance, HDFC Bank, and Mahindra. So from the other companies that you want to highlight, I would like to touch this. I think it's one of the questions I have here, because of course you are the person with all the connections here. Just for people listening to us, because I think it's interesting to learn this. Any notes that you want to, on these areas of companies you want to highlight?
You mentioned Flipkart. Flipkart has already got 14 million wallets right now. It's growing massive. It's in fact got a separate Web3 division now. It's an e-commerce company, Flipkart, and they're actually doing a lot of Web3 interventions now. I just had a meeting with them a few days back in Bangalore, and there's going to be a lot of things happening. I can't discuss most of them online because it hasn't been claimed by the board, but I would happily do it maybe offline sometime when we have time. I'd like to actually point out here why we've got a lot of unicorns. We have actually IBA that has actually conceptualized a concept called the Web3 Village. The Web3 Village is an ecosystem, and I think one of the things we've done is the Web3 on the Sea in Goa. That is actually a full-fledged Web3 district. There are 7 districts which have been identified by the government, where we are going to have accelerators, co-working spaces, co-living spaces, and a complete ecosystem of mentors, VCs, seed capital, compliance, tech, You name it. It's just like a mall of, what do you want on Web3? Oh, I want a startup founder. Here we go. I want a mentor. Here we go. We want a tech support. Here we go. I need to know where is the compliance can be good. Somebody wants leadership, education, centers of excellences. And this is happening first in Goa. Goa is where I stay. I love the place. One of the reasons why I'm motivated to say, when we had this discussion, Dinis, you were at the minister's office, and we said, Goa is always a wonderful place. Everybody knows it for a vacation. Nobody comes to work here. So we said, let's change that paradigm. Let's make it from vacation to workation. So we changed that whole. It took us 15 minutes that time. The minister says, yes, let's do it. The first of the, things are going to, first of these centers is going to come up not anywhere else, but on the sea. We are refurbishing the barges, old barges, which were just lying and, rusting by this way, riverside. We are going to refurbish them and create co-working spaces on them. And each of them will be an accelerator. There are going to be 7 such barges addressing different aspects for Web3. That's going to be fun. And the rest of it, anybody who's a little seasick can come on the beaches and work, because we're going to have co-working spaces on the beaches as well. So that's why the entire concept in Goa is called Web3 on the sea. A similar concept we are now discussing with another country, another state, the Uttarakhand government, Uttarakhand. There is a very hilly area, but it's a lot of hills and valleys. So there is going to be called Web3 Valley. Then there is another one we're discussing in Rajasthan, which is a desert, basically. Most of it is desert, so they got only a Web3 dunes by the dunes. So we've got this Web3 village, where is it's an ecosystem for startups. They can come and get everything they want, grants, funds, whatever is there. So we are encouraging youngsters from India come into the ecosystem, not only from India. We have got a lot of companies from outside India also which have come here and are setting up base here. In fact, in government, in Goa, the Goa government is lobbying with the Ministry of External Affairs to try and get Goa, for this, the digital nomad visa. And once that happens, we get a lot of international crowd coming in, because we already had in Goa a lot of foreigners who come in as tourists. Some of them stay back for business. But with the digital nomad visa, business becomes easy for them. Also, we have a single window clearances, getting the ease of business, making it better, having a very friendly startup policies. All these things are working. We're working in tandem for all these things, Dinis. That's what's making the ecosystem really grow. Plus, we're getting a lot of passionate people. I get a lot of people. Okay, I'm passionate, yes, but I can't be everywhere. So I get a lot of passionate people. Come, guys, let's contribute. We can give back to our friends, our guys, our little youngsters. Give them a little bit of sunshine. Give them a little bit of hope. Give them guidance. Give them direction. Let us be their mentors. Let's be their guide. Let's be their North Star. And that's what we are doing now. So we're creating all this entire ecosystems to make India a startup superpower. And I think it's already moving in that direction. So I'm happy to say we have contributed a little bit there as well. And we'll keep doing that.
Well, I think India is already the superpower of startups, and there's this sense of entrepreneurship. So congratulations on this project. Actually, it was one of the questions that I mentioned in the answer. So this is amazing. So, and just one note that I want to do, coming back to your positions in this part of the interview, I will still go for another 10, 15 minutes if you're okay with that, because that's a couple of questions. Okay. So one of the things there's the Web3 on the sea that we just described, and it's related with the Web3 hub in Goa and all these different things. And at the moment you are as well I don't know if it's related, but it's interesting as well. You are the chairman of the Global Alliance of Artificial Intelligence and Innovation. So tell us about that, because of course you've been having the power and of course the achievements related with especially the blockchain association, but now everything is about AI. And there's AI and the Alliance, and there's a Global Alliance. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, you see, I've always been a fan of AI right from the beginning, although we didn't talk about it much, and the spotlight came only after generative AI came and ChatGPT came in the picture, and everybody said, all right, AI is the next best thing since sliced bread. Well, it may be, but it's also come with its fair share of risks and pitfalls. So one of the things, in fact, it is reported that in this elections which we have just concluded, there were more deepfakes in these elections in India than there were ever in the history of the country. One of the reasons that these deepfakes are not really very good, it could really create a lot of tensions, communal harmony could be disrupted. There could be a lot of disruption. So we started, of course, doing a lot of work way before that because what we believe in one thing. Also, this is one part of it. The other part is the ethical considerations of artificial intelligence, the copyright infringements, ownership rights, etc. One of the things we did, one of the things we are working with the government is bringing in what is known as the PYC, protect your content. It's all going to be a gig. It's a content economy now. There are tons and tons and terabytes of content. Who owns what? Nobody knows. It's the Wild West there. So we decided to try and make some sense there. We're working with the government wants to create by this August, a framework for artificial intelligence and ethical AI and ethical AI, not just artificial intelligence, ethical AI. Why the ethical part? Say, well, you have to, just like we all have our ethics. Why if ethics are in us, we need to transpose them into the technology as well. Right now, as I said, it's the Wild West. Can take anything, do anything, create anything. Deepfakes are rampant, and they are causing a lot of trouble for a lot of people also, especially the film stars, actors, cricketers. They're shown promoting things which are not really there. We recently saw a national stock exchange CEO promoting some stocks, etc., but he was not actually doing it. We've seen all those things happening in the last 8 to 10 months. There's been a rapid degeneration of AI, I would say. I don't believe that we can't solve that problem. I think we need the guardrails in place. And as the chairman of that, my job is to work with all the social media companies, all people in the content space, with the government, in trying to create a fair framework. So a little more about that maybe later, but that's one of the things we're embedding inside. Also, we are creating India's own local ChatGPT, so to speak. You can say in the local languages called Bhashini. So we are working very closely on that also. We are creating the learning models for them, all under the frameworks. What we have is an informal framework of ethical AIs and responsible AI. We've created the unofficial version of what we feel would be a good version from an Indian context right now. We're going to submit that to the government. Now that the elections are over, that's going to be our next submission. Come end of June, we'll be doing that. We've tried to bring some method in the madness now. So at that, as a chairman, my job is to see that we take the feedback from everybody, bring about a solution, and we've got a whole bunch of really good guys in the scene.
Just on the Global Alliance for AI and Innovation, this is global. It's based in India, but it's global. So for people listening to us, how can they be members? And I'm sure the same for the blockchain.
Just reach out to me anytime, reach out to my team. In fact, we are revamping our websites again to make it more global or more accessible to everybody. And you'll see a new change. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn anyways. I'll guide you to my team who will do that. Or anybody interested, just drop me a mail, drop me a DM. I'll have somebody get in touch with you. We're doing a lot of work here. And we always welcome suggestions. We welcome everybody's contributions, whatever it is. The idea is, we can't work in silos. It's too big a space right now. We need to collaborate. We need to work together. We need stakeholders into it. We need people who have the passion, who have the inputs which we really require. We don't know everything. We are looking every day. We also learn something. Oh boy, bang, boom, where did this come from? We never anticipated it. Plus, we use technology a lot to make sure that the frameworks remain more solid and the guardrails remain in place. So we're using, in fact, we had one gentleman who said, well, I have a solution where I can pinpoint using satellite technology where that person is sitting who's actually changing the pixels on that video, etc. So we're very keen. We have tried to explore that as a solution. Yes, why not? If it works, great for humanity, great for all of us. So reach out to us anytime, guy. Reach out to India Blockchain Alliance, reach out to our Ethical Alliance. Anyway, you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty much there on LinkedIn. Find me. Reach out. I'm always happy to help, and I'm always happy to collaborate. I'm always working. I'm an ecosystem builder. Help me build the ecosystem.
You're a powerhouse builder. That's amazing. So I in the scope of time, so there's a couple of questions I want to touch, mostly related as well. So in my introduction presentation about you, so you touch a bit of this. You've been working a lot in the areas of sustainable blockchain ecosystems, and you just mentioned about AI sustainability. This is a big challenge, and I want to go one question that is picking your work and seeing how you see this in society, and as well your interaction with startups, education, and governments. Because, of course, there's a lot of discussion about the AI doom and the technology doom, disruption, a lot of different things. And your narrative, it's very positive, actually very proactive as well. So let's talk about the narrative around AI, around technology. around all this disruption, but as well the impacts on sustainability, because it's obvious that, for instance, in New Delhi right now, we have temperatures, depends if you are in the US and Europe, around 50 degrees. So how do you see this, and how can we tackle this from your work in the practical part between sustainability and technology, and as well in society? Because the three things are becoming very disruptive. And of course, AI has a lot of doom prophets. Even me, sometimes I'm quite nervous about it. I would like to have your views and how you deal with this as someone that is really deep on the journey of this.
First of all, I think we all have to be aware that we are actually, the alarm has gone off, Dinis. We are no longer at the stage when we can really sit back and relax. Sustainability alarm has gone off. It's given us more than enough warnings. We've seen a number of things happening, flooding in Europe, unseasonal rains. We've seen everything. What is it that we need to do? We need to do a lot. And it doesn't have to be we. It has to be all stakeholders. As you said correctly, it's the government, society, you, me, community. That is a very important thing. From our side, what we are doing, yes, we are doing a lot of awareness sessions on sustainability right from the university. So we have a concept called the sustainable campuses. We talk about sustainable campuses. Let's start from where the kids start coming out of. Let's make them more responsible citizens. Why not? That's where a lot of things happen. In colleges, they have a impressionable mind. School is, okay, sustainable schools, right. There's already started that. We've already started with that space. Now, sustainable campuses, why? Because they come from different walks of life, from different countries, states, different places, different social status. That's another place where there is a confluence of people from different places without their level of knowledge. We try and bring it from there as well. Then that we go also into sustainable workspaces. So we've got all these concepts of training, which we do. We also have a concept called Tech Zero. How to use and deploy technology to get to net zero. We've aligned it to the United Nations race to net zero as well. Now, it's very easy to say, a lot of people use the word sustainability. I'd say most of them abuse the word sustainability. We talk sustainability, but we don't really walk the talk. You saw, I don't know whether you read some time back, Shell was accused of doing something absolutely unethical in the sustainable space. Shell is a global corporation. People look up to it. That's not what should have happened, but that's happening. Greenwashing is the name of the game today. A lot of greenwashing happens. How do we bring that? At least how do we mitigate some of it? That's where we are using technology. We created a platform for calculating all those carbon emissions. Beautiful platform. We are now putting it on blockchain. That was a Web 2 platform. Now we're putting it on the Web 3, bringing in the blockchain aspect, bringing in the AI as well for future predictions. We've created a carbon market space. We also created a product called the P-Net Zero. We've just signed up with a lot of carbon registries right now. We are trying to bring an ecosystem together. In fact, one of the very, very important, I would say, initiatives which has taken place in India right now is called the Decarbonization India Alliance. It's to reduce carbon footprint, bring down energy, bring down the energy gas, emissions, etc. The Decarbonization India Alliance, IBA is a core member, is a core partner of the Decarbonizing India Alliance. We are creating the technology for them. We are doing the ESG training for them. We are doing the green, we're talking about Tech Zero, Net Zero, all those things. There are lots of programs we have built into that. And almost every corporate is a part of the Decarbonized India Alliance. That's a collective, it's a movement, it's a sort of a revolution to make things better within the nation. We want to be net zero. Yes, all nations want to be net zero. But what are we doing about it? Are we leveraging technology? Are we creating awareness? I don't think so. We need lots more effort. And we need that to come from the government. I have always mentioned the government is the enabler. It is the political will that will make it happen. Not what I'm doing, not what you're doing to this. It's got to be the political will. And this is true for all nations. Nation building cannot be done without political will. This is part of nation building. More than anything else today, we must address this because our future depends on it. Our children's futures on it. We are not really putting the shining torch so much on that. We're doing multiple other things. Fine, agendas are agendas. However, I think what we need is a mass movement, quite like the G20 which we had, which talk about sustainability. We do talk about it at World Economic Forums, etc. We do talk about all these things. Most of it does not percolate to the common man. If it does not percolate to the common man, it's going to always have no impact. waste management. For example, we're doing a lot of things in waste management, recycling, biodiversity, climate, regenerated tourism. There's a lot to be done. Every aspect. We're working with manufacturing. It's a huge space, but we're only actually scratching the bottom. We're not scratching the surface, not even the surface. It's a long, long way away. 2070, I don't know whether I'll be alive. I don't think I'll be alive by then. But whether we get a 2050 net zero, never know. I may be there around at that time. I hope to see at least we've reached somewhere towards that goal. I don't see it happening completely by 2050, but if we are even halfway there, we have done something. We ought to have done something. I think what I'm trying to do is bring in the whole ecosystem as much as I can, trying to make a difference. And the difference can come only if we work together around that. We can all bring in our expertise, and we have now a specific division in IBA which actually tackles these issues, goes at the ground level, even to, as I said, tier 2, tier 3, and explains to them what they're doing. We are also working with the agriculture sector in helping them understand what are carbon credits and how they can benefit from there. More sustainable farming, if you're talking about sustainable supply chains, we are talking about. So there's a lot of things we are doing. We are doing a lot of work in the energy management. We talk to the energy companies on the decentralized energy grids. Talking about carbon credit trading. We're talking about water management, waste management, and how to address these issues. We're also trying to create, and is there also by tokenizing it a little bit, like incentivizing sustainable practices, which reward systems, creating a reward system program in place, putting more conservation, efforts. We're doing a lot of work, what we can say in the protected area management space, helping people raise funds for the conservation, by crowdfunding, via blockchain. So there's a lot of work we try to do. Community engagement, I think, is very sacrosanct. Blockchain can really enhance transparency and trust in stakeholders, and that's something we're driving that message across, especially in environmental initiatives, from local communities to international organizations. Everybody, when there is trust and clarity, there is work happening. All these things is what we are trying to do, and I'm sure all of us are going to do something in that space. And I urge everybody listening in today, contribute the best way you can. Reach out. Let's give us ideas. Let's put the collective. It's a collective. We're not here only for money. It's not always for profit. It's also for benefit. So let's try and look at the benefit aspect in this.
Amen to that. This is actually a critical element. So I know that we are on the last part. So just one thing that I would like to highlight, and I think because you are in India, you are in Goa, you are in Bangalore, and you are in a lot of different parts of India. So India is I would say, a continent in itself for people that are not so familiar. And I know that most of people, everyone has an opinion about India, but very few people know the complexity and the capacities of India. So as a global citizen of the world, but of course innovating in India and innovating around the world, what would be for people that don't know so much about the Indian tech scene, of course everyone directly or indirectly is related with India. And I want to just use a case study to put the question more practical. Is that even me, that I've been going to India for the last 20 years, I think the last 5 years, I did a lot of stuff in India from conference to everything, but I didn't achieve really big things until I managed to find the right people. And right. I know that there's, like you said, the powerhouse of startup innovation, the powerhouse of different things, but then it comes to reality. So from the vision of India to people that might want to work with India and vice versa, what you would like to share with us? Because you are as well, of course, an ambassador for India, an ambassador for all these technologies.
Yeah, well, India is a very complex nation. Let's put it this way. One of the most complex nations, even for me. I'm in India. We have 29 states, okay? It's like having 29 different countries. No one solution works in all. If something works in, say, Punjab, it won't work in Tamil Nadu. If something is working in Maharashtra, for example, in Bombay, it's not going to work in Bangalore. India is the most complex country in the world, but it's also the most friendly country once you learn how to navigate those waters. It's like the rapids, when you're doing rappelling, you manage to maneuver when you know how to manage the rapids. India is the same. You have to soak India when you come to India. You cannot judge India and talk about India when you're sitting outside. You need to come here. You need to really face everything out here, the challenges, the bomb, the problems, the cattle, whatever you want to call it. It's a huge continent. There are such diverse opinions. There are such diverse people. There are hundreds of languages spoken in the country. I know 5 languages, and then people say, "Oh, you only know 5." Seriously? Yeah, India's got more than 100, so I just know 5, apart from English. So I'm a minority there. As far as languages are concerned, there are so many different types of people, minorities, types of ideologies. Everything is here, but that's what makes India the most interesting place. The complexities, the challenges. Whenever there's a challenge, remember there's an opportunity. If there are no challenges, there are no opportunities. And that's what makes India the most beautiful place, a land of challenges and land of opportunities. Not to say the highest population and therefore the highest consumers and the highest youth population in the whole world right now. The maximum number of youth in the age of 80 to 40 are 35 are in India. So we have the largest youth population. That's going to be a big plus. You can harness this energy. We are seeing a lot of international companies harness this energy. There is now a cohesive startup system being put together. Right now, a lot of people are working in ad hoc, a lot of initiatives. We're trying to put a little bit of cohesion around that. We're putting it on a platform, by the way. That's another thing we're making. This platform using blockchain and AI, which are connecting these ecosystems on a single platform. You all know, Dinis, India is the only country where McDonald's pivoted from its policy of making everything non-vegetarian. India is the only one which has a vegetarian burger. And a vegetarian Subway, only in India, nowhere else. Where did they say, in Rome, you do as the Romans do? Well, in India, you do as the Indians do. And feel free. India is a global country. I mean, there are many people like us who can actually work along with you, work together, work in collaboration. India is collaboration. The states represent collaboration. Bring them all together. They're working in tandem for a common cause for the nation. 29 different places. So it's huge. It's a huge effort keeping it all together and growing as well. The GDP is growing 6.7 to 8%, 8.2%. That's a strong growth. Everyone else is struggling. A lot of other people are struggling. Not everybody, but a lot of other people are struggling. India is not struggling. India is now really emerging. This is the market for the future. China has unfortunately shut itself and walled itself off. India has not. I think that's the opportunity. Enjoy the space, guys. This is the place to be now.
I make your words mine. Thank you so much for that. And it's very inspiring, but as well very practical, because I think it's very important. So to wrap up, and I appreciate, because we've been here for 1 hour almost. So practical parts. Okay, so where people can find you, what are the things that you want to promote? We didn't touch about all your startups, although I mentioned all of them, but I think feel free to highlight the ones that are more active and the ones they want to highlight, because as I mentioned, especially Tata Elxsi, Spherium, Soulverse is some of the ones that you've been involved. And as well, I would like to see some highlights that you wanted to leave for the audience, and as well follow up. And I think this will be the first one. I'm sure we're going to do a second one near future, and probably bring more people, do a live about India, because it's one of the things we're going to be doing much more. Like you said, India is the place to be. I make your words, and I want to do that as well. And I love India myself.
You will. I think today, there was a time, but if you see today, all the large corporates, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Google, all have a lot of Indians, spearheading them right now. Also, I'm on the advisory board of more than 60 is mentioned there, but I'm actually now on more than 70, 80 companies now. And they're all the international companies. They're not necessarily all from India. So there's a lot of value which we can add. The value doesn't come from a nationality. It comes from the heart, from the brain. That's exactly where we come from. With the passion that we bring in. So we Indians do work very hard. I work very hard. My entire team works very hard. Not a single person takes a dime from IBA. They have their own businesses, yes, and they in fact contribute. So what I say is that everyone can contribute in their own way. Either bring in a wonderful product, anything which will cause impact, anything which will make things easier. I'm there to help you. I'm there on LinkedIn, yes, or you can always read Dinis. He's always there. He's got my number, and if you don't have my number, no problem. You can still reach me on LinkedIn. I'm always available on LinkedIn. I'm not too much on the Insta and not too much on Twitter, although some of my friends are. I'm more of a LinkedIn person, and that too, I get lazy sometimes. I don't update my profile for months, and then my daughter will probably, hey, Dad, you did all these things. It's not showing there. All right, I'll go to something. So you go ahead, reach out to me anytime. Hey, I am fine. I love to talk. I'm an old school guy. Guys, I'm in my 60s. I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying people. I'm enjoying everything around me. God has given us this opportunity to create that little difference. Let's do that. It's not going to be, I don't know whether I'm going to come back on this earth again. I don't believe in the second birth and all that stuff. I've never seen it. So I believe we have our one life. We have this one time. Let's all do it. Come here if you want to come to India. I'll help you. If you need anything from India, I'll help you. I love people and I'm never going to change. That's Raj Kapoor for you. He'll always be the same.
Well, it's beautiful, and I think it shows the special person you are. I think for people listening to us, definitely Raj is really a generous and non-stop personality with an energy. Amazing. So, Raj, it's been an honor to have you. There's much more things, but I think it's good for the first round one. Definitely the second one will come. So, we'll put all the links for everyone to engage. So, Raj, very humble. Namaste for being here. It's been an honor. And I learned as well, I think, especially more about India, the work you're doing. For people listening to us, research this work. You can find the information about the Global Alliance for Artificial Intelligence and Innovation. You can as well look at the Indian Blockchain Alliance and all the amazing work. I'm looking forward to see more about the Web3 on the sea, and as well about the Web3 hub in Goa. Actually, Goa is a beautiful place. So thank you so much, all. It's an honor. So thank you so much.
Mind you, everybody else listening here also, that does not exclude you. You guys can come. Give me a shout. That's all. I should be in Goa. That's all. I travel a lot. I'll make sure you do.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here, so I'm sure. But well, I respect, of course, Raj, but definitely engage. Thank you all. Raj, amazing. Okay, thank you.